Now, the Akans never believed God is different from nature. They believed God is nature itself. They never believed God is the source of life. No. God is not the source of life. God is life itself. In science, they draw the distinction between living things and non-living things. And they only classified living things as things that can breathe and grow. So things like stones and the earth that we don't see expanding, they say those things don't have life. But the Akans language will tell you that it's a lie. If the earth is not a living thing, then it means that the earth doesn't have life, right? If the earth doesn't have life, how does the earth, which doesn't have life, is able to germinate plants that has life? Because the plant draws life from the earth. So people say our ancestors, the black ancestors, did not know anything about the Almighty God before the arrival or the influx of the European into our continent. Is it true? Well, hello everyone. Welcome on PaulVin TV. My purpose today is to show you whether our ancestors knew God or not before the coming of the Orange Man. Alright, now I will talk from the perspective of the Akans, because those are the ones that I have lived with. And looking at some of the words they use in their language, the Twi or the Akan language, we will realize after this video that they knew God and even spoke about Him. Now, there are two words I'm going to use to deduce their knowledge of God and make it clear to you. So you can see I've done so many deductions on the board. I'll take my time and take you through them one by one. These are various, just two Akan words that I've been able to deduce so many other words and meanings from. Now I'm going to do this, my analogy and deduction of the concept of God by the lens of, or through the lens of the Akans, from two names the Akans give to God. Alright? And afterwards, I will give you a bonus that relates the Akans and some other tribes in Ghana. But for now, I will only concentrate on Akans and how they relate to Egypt, ancient Egypt. Now, if you haven't watched my previous video where I spoke about the broken noses of Egyptian statues, that significantly helps us to detect the occupants of that land or the inhabitants of that land back then were Africans. Now, this video will also let you know one of those people or one of the groups of many groups of people who used to be on that land. All right. Now let's get to the board. So the two words I'm going to use is, the first one is Onyankopon. Onyankopon, that's a Akan name for God. Onyankopon, spelled A different version of this word is Nyankopon. It's just the same word, only without the o. Alright, they both refer to God, Nyankopon or Onyankopon. Now, in the Akan language, we have realized that so many words came together in the past to form one word or one combined word, or let me say one compound word, right? And the new word becomes corrupted over time and the original meaning gets lost. So if you really want to understand the Akan language, you have to take your time and dig deeper into the current words that you are having, break them down, bring out the original words that came together to create the new words that we are having now, before you can really understand the Akan language into two. Now, let's begin to break our first name for God down. before we do that, let me refer you or go to the second word or name that I'll be using to do my deduction. The second word is odumankuma. Odumankuma. This is an Akan word which means nature, and it's spelled Odumankuma means nature. Let me go back to my first name for God, Onyankopon. Now I have broken this word down, and the first one I had, or the first combinations I had, were Onyanko, and Pon. Now, what do these words mean, and why do they come together to form or to name God? Onyanko is a word that comes from another word, Oyonko. In Akan, when we say Oyonko means friend, and Pon means paramount. So we say Ohene is chief. So Ohene is paramount chief, or greatest chief, or highest chief. You get it? Let's follow. So Onyanko, as I said, is Oyonko, that we have corrupted it as Onyanko, but it's Oyonko. Pon, so paramount friend. So we refer to the Creator, God, as our paramount friend. Now, if the ancestors of the Akans did not know God, why would they refer to him or her as paramount friend? A paramount friend is someone who is very close to you, whom you know very much, right? So they refer to the Creator as paramount friend, which means they knew him. Let's continue. The second deduction that I made from this the word Onyankopon is Nyankopon. You see Nyan here, Nyan, and we have Ko, and we have the Pon. All right. Now the Nyan is an Akan version of the language called Fanti, Nyan. But when you bring it to the tree, which is the most popular, it's Nyane, which means wake. Nyane, wake. Ko means one. Ko, one. Pon, so you have the Nyane plus Ko plus Pon. So Nyane, wake. Ko, one. Pon, paramount. What do these words come together to form? They come together to form paramount, one, awake. So we say God never sleeps. So in Akan we say ontonko na onna. Ontonko means he never sleeps. Na means and. Onna means no slumbers. He never sleeps nor slumbers. So paramount, one, awake. Paramount, one, awake. Nyane kopon. Nyane kopon. That's not all. We can also find another deduction. The C. Nya me nku pon. That one came from here. Nya. Alright. Now, where from the me? Where from the me? Aside Akans using Nyankopon or Onyankopon for God, they also refer to God as Nyame. Nyame. So you can spell this word as Nyame. Nyamenkopon. Nyamenkopon. Alright? We just use Nyame for God. So even the ones that people call lesser God, which I don't actually agree, lesser gods, we call all those ones in the local language as Nyame. Alright, Nyame. Okay, so God is Nyame. Nkopon, it's here. So the nya is a short form of nyame nkupon. So nyame nkupon. Now what does that word mean? Nya means get. Nya, get. Nya baby, get something. Me means me. So the Akan word for me or me is the same spelling. Me. So in English we say me. In Akan we say me plus unko. So nya. So nya get. Me. Unko alone. So unko can be only or alone. Alright? And pon. So aside pon, the word pon meaning paramount, greatest or highest, we can also use pon to mean close. In Akan when we say ya pon, ya is yen, a pon, yen is we. So yen upon, yen upon, we have closed. So the pon means close, as in to end your work, end something, stop doing something, close from school. Right? So get me alone plus close, which comes to mean get me alone and close. So we say God is someone that when you get him or her, that's all, you are satisfied. Alright? Aside that, nyame can also even be deduced to mean nya, men. Nya means get, me means satisfied. So it can mean nya plus men. The men may be double. Men, yeah, nya, men. So when you get him, you are satisfied. The men means satisfied. So nya, men, nyame, nyamen. So the only one you get and you are satisfied. Get me alone and close, or get me alone and be satisfied. Now the fourth deduction. Nyam, let's come from here. Nyame nkupung. So instead of the nya, I got nya, nyam, and we leave this one out, and unko and pon, nyam, unko, pon. So nyam, unko, pon. What does it mean? Nyam is glory. So when we say someone has glory, in Akan we say, when we want to say glory in Akan we say animunyam, nanim wonyam. His face has glory. Nanim, that's his face. Wo, has glory. Nyam, his face has glory. Nanim wonyam. Alright, so nyam is glory. Enko, as you know, is only or alone. Pon, you know, is paramount, highest, most high, greatest. So what would these words come together to mean? Glory, only, paramount. Now, if we are to arrange these words just like glory, only, paramount in English, it will not make sense. So unless we turn them, so let's capsize the ship and bring this one first, only, then this one, then come here. So only, paramount, glory. Only, paramount, glory. So this one means that the rank at which the creator or God is, nobody goes to that rank. The highest glory ever to attain. And then when you get that glory, you must close. So when you are able to develop yourself in the spiritual realm and you attain the knowledge of the highest, then that's all. You close. Right? So the Akan spiritual growth is a procedural thing. You start from somewhere and you end somewhere. And we all grow from the most basic into attaining the light, which we will go there. All right, attaining the light. This will link the Akans to ancient Egypt, attaining the light. All right. So today they call God the light, and they call someone Satan, which is not even found in our spirituality or our spiritual culture. There's nothing that we call Satan, even though they've created a word for him as Obonsam. But later on, we will come to show that we never had anything like that sort. Okay, let me just go back to the concentration of why we are here today. Okay, so we have finished the deduction of Nyankopon, Onyankopon, and Nyamenkopon to mean all these: paramount friend, the paramount one awake, which means God never sleeps, the get me alone and close, which means I'm the rank that when you reach, you don't supersede, you don't go beyond. Our only paramount glory, the same thing, the only glory that man must attain and should stop. All right, now let's come to the second word. I said I'm going to use two words to draw the Akans conception of God and make it clearer to you. The second word is Odumankuma, which I said means nature. Right, now the Akans put this word in relation to Nyangopon. They put them together and make it Odumankuma Nyangopon, which means nature, God, because Nyangopon is God. So Odumankuma is nature. So Odumankuma Nyangopon, nature, God. So they even refer to the creator as Odumankuma. Odumankuma bo adie. Creator created something. Odumankuma bo adie. Creator created something. And Odumankuma is nature. So nature created something. Now let's go into Odumankuma and find the various words that came together to form Odumankuma. Now you will find the first word, Odum, which is here. Odum. Let me give you the spelling of Odumankuma. That's Odum. Ma. So Odum Anko plus ma. The Anko in itself is a corrupted word. Right? In Akan, we don't have anything like Anko. It's just a word that has been sped up in speaking. It has been oversped. So the actual word is Ara Unku. But when we are reading in the Akan tree language, we don't really read like Aranku. The Fant people would mention it Aranku. But the Asantis just ignore the Aranku and just say Anku. Anku. That's why I put this apostrophe there, showing you that there are some letters missing. So the Ra is missing here. Aranku. Alright. Now what does the Odom Aranku mean? Odom is grace. Odom is grace. So when someone says be gracious or be gracious to me, in Twi we will say, in Akan we will say Yemi Abdom or Yemi Odom. Alright? When they want to refer to you as gracious one, they say Odom for someone who has been gracious or who has favored you. Okay. Now, so Odom is grace. Ara Unko. We have already established that Unko means only. Alright? Ara Unko doesn't really change the meaning of the word. It's still the same thing. Just that the Ara kind of stresses the only. Like you mean it's only. Okay? Only. So plus ma. So ma is giver or give. Ma is give, rather give. So Odom Aranko ma. So grace only give. But this word does not make sense in English. So when you want to bring it in English, you will say only giver of grace. The only giver of grace. The only one that can be gracious to you. The only one, you know, when man is gracious to you, when man favors you, someday, somehow, later, they want to have a payback. All right, but we want to glorify God and say, when God is gracious to you, He doesn't really expect anything in return. He just wants to be gracious to you. So we have established this. Odom aranko ma, odom aranko naoma. He only gives grace. Now, this is where I begin to talk, getting away from the board. Now, you see, the Akans called God Odomankuma Nyangopon, nature God. Now, the Akans never believed God is different from nature. They believe God is nature itself. That's why they call nature creator. Odomankuma bo adie. Nature created something. Odomankuma bo adie. Bo is create. Adie is something. Odomankuma is nature. Odomankuma bo adie. Nature created something. Odomankuma nyankopon. Nature God. Now the Akans believe that God is life. They never believed God is the source of life. No. God is not the source of life. God is life itself. Alright? That's per the conception of the Akans. Nature God. God is life itself because nature is everything that we see around us. The plants, the humans, the animals, the land, the sea, the waters, the fishes, the skies, and everything. Now, notice, in science, they draw the distinction between living things and non-living things. And they only classify living things as things that can breathe and grow. So things like stones and the earth that we don't see expanding, they say those things don't have life. But the Akan's language will tell you that it's a lie. One, there is it. In Akan, we have an idiom that we say okwa trekwa. Mma okwa trekwa mma ntuma. Okwa trekwa imma ntuma. Okatrekwa in Akan word means they have not. They have not, those who don't have. Or he who doesn't have. Ma. You see here we said ma means give. Ma means give. But in Akan when we double the first letter, ma, we negate the word. So ma means doesn't give. Ntuma is cloth. So okatrekwa ma ntuma. They have not can never give. If you don't have something, how do you give it? So what does this one mean when we relate it to nature? Now, we say the earth is not a living thing because it doesn't breathe. That's what the science say. But if the earth is not a living thing, then it means that the earth doesn't have life, right? If the earth doesn't have life, how does the earth, which doesn't have life, is able to germinate plants that has life? Because the plant draws life from the earth. Which means they have not, can never give. So if the earth doesn't have life, it can't give the plants life. Since the plants draw life from earth, then the earth must have life before it can give life to the plants. Now, when the plant grows, we call it living thing, and it produces fruits. Alright? When we pluck the fruit, we don't call the fruit living thing. According to science, fruit is just a thing, it's not a living thing. But man eats fruit, animals eat fruit, and they get energy to live on. Without fruit, we will die. So it means that fruit also gives man life. Alright? Fruit gives man life. They have not, can never give. So if fruit doesn't have life and is not a living thing, why is it able to give man life? They have not, can never give. So the earth has life gives life to the plants have life, they give life to the fruits have life, they give life to man and animals, and we live. What about the air? Is the air a living thing? Because if man doesn't breathe, man will die. The have-nots can never give. So if the air doesn't have life, how is the air able to give man life? The Akans concept of God. Nature, God. Nature, God. Odumankuma nyankopon. So the air has life. That's why it's able to give man life. So air, according to our spiritual culture, will be determined as a living thing. So they can't believe that there are spirits in the air. So we say God is omnipresent. God is everywhere. Let me explain in the Akan concept why we say God is everywhere. The Akan believe that we see the Creator in nature, the things that ever God created. We see stones, we see rivers, we see plants, we see the air. So when you see an Akan pouring water or wine to the earth, talking to the air, pouring wine to the plants, to stones, to the air, talking to the air, and anything in nature, to the rivers, and you kind of negate their actions to mean devilish, then you are lost. Because per what I have explained, all those things have life. And I said earlier that God is not different from life. He is not the source of life, but He is life itself. Right? Now this will send us back to the beginning. How or why do the Akans do all these things? And they say they see God in the natural things around us, even in humans. Now, when we go to the Christian Bible in Genesis, right? Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 says, in the beginning, God. All right? So, in the beginning, the Creator. Now, when you read the story and you go on, you realize that there was nobody aside the Creator alone, according to the Christian concept. And the Creator created the world, him or herself, with no resources, no materials around, right? So if he or the Creator was the only one existing then, and he had no materials to create the world, then what was used to create the world? The Christians will say His word, but that would be a lie. The Creator used Himself to create the world because He was the only material available. So we don't really say creation, we say emanation. The Creator evolved into different other things, right? So we see the Creator, since he or she evolved into different other things, emanated into different other things. The Creator emanated to me, you that you are watching me today, the stones that you see around, the plants that you see around. They were not just called into being, they were emanated out of the Creator. They were evolved out of the Creator. So when you talk about science, talking about evolution, it makes sense a bit, just that the explanation that they give is what we don't support. So there was this force or this energy in the beginning, and that energy evolved into many other things. Evolution. So the Creator used him, herself, to create all the things we see around. So when you see your fellow human being next time, you see God, and you respect your fellow human being as God. That's why some few years ago, you can drop something at a station, a public station. You go 10 years and come back and see the thing, then nobody will touch it. If anybody touched it, it was to keep it safe, but not to steal. So our society was so much better that because we saw every human being as God. We saw all the stones as God. We saw all the forests as God. So the Akans were never cutting trees anyhow. They were growing trees, planting all the time, eating from nature. But today, what do we see? All these things have been replaced with things that are artificial, man-made. things that are really, really non-living things. Non-living things don't have life. Therefore, they cannot give us life. That's why when you eat those food, you die young. You die early. The Akan concept of God. Now, why do we say God is omniscient? No, God is omnipresent. I've explained that the Creator used himself as the first material, the only material to create the world. So he is a distributed ledger in every single thing you see in the universe, aside the things that man have created. All right. So everything that is natural has the Creator embedded in it. Okay. So wherever you see yourself, you see the earth. Wherever you find yourself, you find plants. Wherever you go, you find rivers. Wherever you go, the air surrounds you. The air gives man life. The air has life to give. Life is the Creator. The Creator is not the source of life. Therefore, the air that has life has the Creator in it. Man that has life has the Creator in him. So, man is everywhere. Air is everywhere. The Creator is everywhere. The Creator is omnipresent. You get it? Okay. Now, let me bring you to this side of the board, where I want to link the Akan concept of God to the Egyptian concept with the attributes of God. In the Akan's attribute of God, we have one word or one name or one attribute of God that has two versions. We have Amoria by the Asantes, and we have Amori by the Equiapem and the Fantes. Now, what is Amoria and what is Amori? Amoria is Akan words, two words put together. Amo is a corrupted version of the word Obo. Amo, this one is not even Amo, it's Amoria. Amoria. Amo is a corrupted version of the word Obo. Obo. And Ria is a corrupted version of the word Aria. So Obo means creator, the one who created, or giver. Aria, son. Aria, son. So Obo Aria, creator of son or giver of son. Okay, so in the attributes of God, we say God is Amoria, the creator of sun or the giver of sun. Now, the other version, Amori, the Amori is the same word Amoria, but rather used by the Equiapem people or the Fant people who are also Akans. Now, what do this word connect, or how do they connect to ancient Egypt? You realize that the Amoria, giver of sun or sunlight, in ancient Egypt, the greatest god in ancient Egypt was the sun god. The sun god, who was called Ra or Re, right? And then the name of that god were two, Amon Re or Amon Ra. Now, Amoria corrupted Amon Ra, Amoria, Amon Ra. Amori by the Equiapem people corrupted Amon Re, and they say these two names is for the same god. You understand? Now you get the drift. If they want to hide the stuff from you, they find ways to change words and form new words so that you don't even see that they are referring to your own ancestors. Black man, wake up. Amon Ria corrupted as Amon Ra, Ria, Ra, Amori, Amori. So the W sound and the R sound are the ones that will do the connection for you. For the Amo, Amon is still the same sound. Amo, Amo. Yeah, just that they've done it A-M-U-N, which they will say Amun. Alright, but it's Amon, Amo we are amo, right? Okay, so I think I've served the purpose of this video. I didn't let you waste your data, I'm sure. So if you like what I just did, please, I am PaulVin. Just give me a subscribe on this one, like this video, forward it around, let others come to watch and learn that in their spiritual culture, in the name they give to their God, we have history in it. I'm PaulVin. As usual, I never disappoint. Bye bye.